What are you, what are you chewing on? You are so funny. What are you chewing on? What's in your mouth? Hey, what's in your mouth? Let's see. Show everybody what's in your mouth. Got anything in there? What's in your mouth? Hey, let's see. Nothing. Something's in there. What's in there? What do you got? I don't see anything. Don't eat me. All right, guys. Sorry, Cruz. We're going to move the camera. Is that okay? God, you're so cute, bro. Cruz was eating a part of this. So this is what we're going to talk about today. My fuel video. I made notes. Cruz decided to eat my notes. He ate my homework. He really did. This trip, I did a total of 19,849 kilometers. Yeah, that is a huge amount of driving. We were gone 109 days and just about 20,000 kilometers. I made a video a while ago saying about how expensive full-time travel can be, especially when you're traveling some distances sometimes, or if you have a time limit to come back somewhere. Because if you have a timeline to be back and you're on like a 3-month trip like I was, or a 4-month trip like I was, the farther you go out, the more expensive it's going to be to get all the way back. And boy, was it a little on the pricey side. So how I figured this out here is 19,849 kilometers at approximately 19 cents per liter in fuel. Because I didn't track on paper all of my gas receipts like I intended when I started, I did this on the way back. So I know what my starting kilometers were and I know what my ending kilometers were. That's how I got the 19,849 kilometers in total from Vancouver to the farthest point of Canada, well, close to anyway, and all the way back on the side of Canada that we did travel in. So on the way back, I started to track all of my fuel. So every time I filled up my gas tank, I would take a look at the amount of kilometers that I drove, took the amount of money that it cost me to refill back up, and divided those numbers together, and then just divided on how many kilometers. So I'm not a miles per hour kind of guy, and to me, I find that calculation a little bit confusing. So for me to figure it out on how much it costs me per kilometer to drive on that fuel up makes more sense to me to judge my cost of travel. So I figured it out on average at 19 cents per kilometer. And to me, that just works out. So if you're going to drive 100 kilometers, you know what it costs your van to drive 100 kilometers. That's, you know, everybody's different. Some of you might be like, Chrome, that doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense to me. And because I didn't track my fuel, that was the easiest way for me to figure out some numbers to make this video for you. So some of my fill-ups were about 17 cents a kilometer, and then I had other fill-ups which were like 23 cents, 24 cents a kilometer. So I figured out the average, and I usually bounced around between 17 cents and 22 cents. So I came up with 19 cents on an average. So at 19,849 kilometers, it cost me $3,771 in fuel. Wrap your head around that. $3,700 in 3.5 months. 109 days. So when I made that previous video letting you guys know that traveling like this is insane. And this is where my example before that some people just never really understood. Like I always told people, travel slow because it's cheaper. Some people like, that doesn't make any sense, Chrome. If you're going to go to that destination anyway, it's still going to cost you the same amount of money. Yeah, you're right. But if you did that drive in 1 week or did that drive in 1 month, right? Sure, you're going to spend the same amount of money, but your monthly budgets are going to be very expensive. So take my trip, for example. The $3,771 in fuel in 109 days, if I drove that same route and did the exact same amount of kilometers, but I did it over 365 days, my monthly would be way cheaper. And that's where things come in for people like me, and maybe most of you, that have budgets. So because I make money on YouTube, my budgets fluctuate quite a bit every single month. So for me, I don't want to spend too much because I don't have money left over in the bank for that. And if you're on a fixed income, whether it be retirement, if you travel too fast, you're going to kill your monthly budget in like 2 weeks. Who wants that? And then you're stuck being broke waiting for the next paycheck to come in. And that's pretty much what just about happened to me partway through my trip, because I had expenses with my daughter's dance, which were insane. But anyway, that depleted my savings account, and then adding all this expensive fuel cost to it was bananas. So I figured it out. It cost me on this entire trip about $34.50 every single day in fuel on average. There were some days where I was putting 50, 60, 70 bucks a day in fuel. And then some days, nothing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So figure that out. $34 a day in fuel. That's the same cost as me renting a condo down here. That's like me going back and paying rent again. Close, a little cheaper. But van life is way more fun. Let me tell you, I would rather throw my rent money into my gas tank and go explore than to throw money in someone else's pocket over here and have zero fun. But yeah, think about that. So I figured it out that I went out to Google Maps. I tracked out all the destinations that I went to, and my cross-Canada trip going town to town was about 12,430 kilometers. That's just a guesstimate. And the reason why I wanted to figure this out is I wanted to know how much extra running around I was doing because of my YouTube channel. And my fuel consumption is going to be different than you because I am running a business while I travel. I'm creating YouTube videos, so I have a substantial amount of additional driving, gathering footage and content and pretty little things just to wrap up videos and nice B-roll footage of all these different little pretty spots. So I do drive around an extra little bit during the day. So I figured I did between 5,000 and 7,000 additional kilometers that you may not do on this kind of a trip. Does that make sense? So I figured I spent an extra $1,400 in fuel just to gather additional content for the channel. The reason why I figured that out is I wanted to figure out what it would cost you to take this trip. So I figured you guys would be a whole lot less, meaning that if you did my trip without my additional YouTube running around, it might cost you $2,300 in fuel, which isn't so bad. If you could be gone for 3.5 months or 109 days and spend $2,300 in fuel, that's amazing. Mine, $3,771 in gas, which is mind-blowingly insane. So, and if you did my trip, so I did my trip on 109 days. If you did your trip over 6 months, which is 160 days, your daily fuel cost would be $13. So if you didn't do my extra running around, you'd be at $3,200 in fuel. Over 180 days is only $13 a day to travel. Not freaking bad. So anyway, long story short, travel slower. So if you only have 3 months to travel, do not go as far as I did. You're better in my scenario to just explore, a quarter of that distance and explore the crap out of that quarter of that distance in those 3 months. Because you can always do the additional section next year or the year after. So if you think of it, if I only did Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario in 3 months, I could have even just done Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba in 3 months. And then next year, made the couple-day drive to Ontario and spend 4 months in just Ontario. And then next time, drive the 5 days to get to the next destination and spend more time in the next province. You'll get to see the areas you travel more when you don't blast through them. So if you look at it, I went through Alberta and I didn't even visit it. I didn't. I was more mindset on getting to Ontario than I was anything else. And then from there, it was like blasting through. So my suggestion, if you're going to do these big, quote, cross-Canada trips, stop treating this as a one-time life trip. You have a world of time in your life. But showing you guys that traveling too far, too fast is way too damn expensive. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching today's video. Hopefully this was some kind of a help to some of you. I know some of you don't really care about this kind of stuff, but travel slow, guys. That's my suggestion. Don't travel too far in the timeline you have. I see too many people saying, oh, I got a month off of work, I'm going to do coast to coast. You're crazy. Why would you want to drive through provinces and not see anything? pull over, you snap a picture, you get back on the road. There is no fun in that. Zero. I know. I did that on my drive back from this trip. I was blasting through places. Sure, the highway looked great, but there's nothing good on a highway. What's good on a highway? A highway is built through the easiest place to build a highway, which means all the good stuff is not around it. It's all on the opposite sides of it. So take your time, guys. Don't travel like a maniac like I did, or you're going to do like I did. Come back from a trip like this and be damn well broke. Who wants that? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching today's video, and thank you for always sticking around to the very end. So if you're the kind of person that watches the end of my videos, thank you a ton. Watch time on videos is like the biggest thing you could do for the algorithm, so I appreciate those who always stick around to the end. You're my diehards and my true family, and I love you guys for being here, because I wouldn't have the life I have today. I wouldn't be able to produce content like this every day and inspire people to be who they want to be if it wasn't for you guys pressing play. So I'm a big fan of all of you guys, and I never forget about you. Every single day that I'm out, everything that happens in my world, it's you guys that I want to share it with. And I appreciate, weird way to say it, but I appreciate the friendship, because all of you are a big piece of my day and a big piece of Cruz's day, and we appreciate you guys very much. So never stop being a freaking weirdo, because normal people just, they suck. All right, I gotta go, because I want to go get some work done online and get that What's Up Weirdos one put on a shirt. So links are down below. That was a weird sound to make. Let's say bye to Cruzy Bear. Hey, well, I'll give him some kisses too. And hey, buddy, can we come lie down with you? Can we come lie down with you, bro? Is that possible? Can you say bye to everybody? All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow.